Hey everyone, and welcome back to Cosmic Currents. Today we're talking about a fascinating, often overlooked corner of your astrology chart, Antiscion. We're going to be unpacking what is essentially a secret shadow sign placement, a hidden aspect of your astrological blueprint that reveals where your energy goes when no one is looking. Have you ever felt like you're one way on the surface but a completely different person when you're alone? Or have you noticed certain desires or instincts that just seem to fit with your sun or moon sign? That's the feeling we're exploring today. That quiet, complementary energy that's always been a part of you? Before we dive into the stars, if you're finding these insights helpful, please hit that like and subscribe button. It helps this energy reach more people who need it. Drop a comment below and tell me a question you're asking the universe right now. Alright, find a comfortable spot and let's align our energy with the cosmos. So, let's start with the big question. What on earth is Antiscion? Think of it this way. In your chart you have your visible planets and signs: your sun in Taurus, your moon in Libra, your rising sign, and so on. These are the energies you know and recognize. They're the parts of you that are in the light. But just as every object casts a shadow, every sign in the zodiac has a hidden mirrored counterpart. This is its Antiscion point. The word itself comes from a Greek term that essentially means shadow. It's an ancient astrological technique, a secret a lot of modern astrologers either don't know or don't use. But it holds immense power because it reveals the hidden, complementary side of your chart, the shadow of each planet and point. This isn't about something dark or negative. It's about what's unconscious or unseen. The energy of your Antiscion placements is often subtle and indirect. You might not actively think about it or consciously live it, but it's a powerful undercurrent that guides your instincts and motivations, especially in private moments or behind the scenes. For example, your sun sign represents your core identity and how you shine in the world. But your sun's Antiscion sign shows a hidden supporting identity, the way you naturally and effortlessly express your core self in a more quiet, complementary way. It's the difference between the person you are on stage and the person you are in the quiet of your own home, humming to yourself while you cook. It's an energy you may not even realize you're radiating. Think about a time when you acted completely out of character, but it felt strangely right. Maybe you're a fiery Aries, but in a moment of crisis, you found yourself being incredibly meticulous and detail-oriented. A lot like a Virgo that could be your Aries sun's Antiscion at work. The two signs, Aries and Virgo, are an Antiscion pair, and we'll get into all the pairs in just a moment. The beautiful thing is that these shadow energies aren't separate from you. They're deeply integrated. They're the missing puzzle pieces that make your chart feel whole. By understanding them, you can start to connect with parts of yourself that have been hiding in plain sight. It's a profound tool for self-acceptance, helping you embrace the entirety of your being, not just the parts that are easy to see. So, how does this actually work in practice? Well, the foundation of Antiscion is built on the solstice, the moments in the year when the sun reaches its highest and lowest points. The Tropic of Cancer is the point of the summer solstice, and the Tropic of Capricorn is the point of the winter solstice. The signs that are equidistant from these 2 points are considered Antiscion pairs. It's all about symmetry and balance. The same kind of balance you see in nature when the days start to shorten after the summer peak or lengthen after the winter low. The energy isn't opposite, it's a harmonious echo. It's a sign that shares the same amount of daylight or light as your sign, but from a different position on the zodiac wheel. This is a very different principle from polarity, which is about opposites. This is about a hidden synergy. We'll be diving deep into what that synergy looks like for each pair, and then how you can apply it to your own chart. For now, just sit with the idea that there's a secret shadow self waiting to be discovered. So, how do we find these hidden shadow signs? The entire concept of Antiscion is built on the axis of light and shadow, the very framework of our seasons. To truly understand it, we have to go back to the source of light in our chart, the sun. The sun's journey through the zodiac is what creates our seasons. The 2 key points in this journey are the solstices. You have the summer solstice, which happens when the sun is at the very beginning of Cancer at 0 degrees. This is the longest day of the year, the peak of the sun's light and power in the northern hemisphere. And then you have the winter solstice, when the sun is at the very beginning of Capricorn at 0 degrees. This is the shortest day, the lowest point of the sun's journey. These 2 points, 0 degrees, Cancer, and 0 degrees Capricorn, form a pivotal axis in the zodiac, often called the solstice axis. Now, imagine this axis like a spiritual seesaw. The signs that are perfectly balanced and equidistant from this seesaw center are Antiscion to each other. They share the exact same amount of daylight. For example, let's look at the first few degrees of Aries. It's close to the beginning of the zodiac. Now, if you measure that same distance from the other side of the solstice axis, you land in Virgo. An Aries sun and a Virgo sun experience the same amount of daylight at different times of the year. making them an Antiscion pair. It's like they have a secret energetic understanding, a shared rhythm of light. It's a cosmic dance that's not about opposition, but about complementarity. This is a profoundly different way of looking at your chart. These are signs that are 180 degrees apart, direct opposites. But Antiscion is about a hidden synergy. It's a subtle, almost psychic connection. A person with a Taurus sun might not openly resonate with a Leo, but their Taurus sun's Antiscion is in Leo. This means they have a hidden Leo energy that manifests behind the scenes. They might be incredibly sensual and grounded in their public life, but in their private world, they have a deep desire for recognition and a flair for the dramatic, a need to shine that their Taurus nature might keep hidden. Think about a time you've met someone and felt an instant, unexplainable connection, but their chart didn't seem to have any major conjunctions or trines to yours. It's very possible that their Antiscion points were interacting with your planets, creating a subconscious pull. It's the kind of connection that exists in the unspoken, in the subtle dance of a relationship. It's not the lightning bolt of a sun-sun conjunction. It's the quiet hum of two souls recognizing each other's shadow. This principle extends to every planet in your chart. Your moon's Antiscion reveals a hidden emotional world, the quiet comfort you seek when no one is around. Your Mars's Antiscion shows you a secret drive, the way you assert yourself without even realizing you're doing it. It's about uncovering the subtle layers that make you who you are. This isn't a concept you can just gloss over. It's an invitation to go deeper, to explore the unconscious motivations that have been guiding you all along. The beauty of this is that it provides a powerful tool for self-acceptance. Maybe you've felt that your public self and your private self are two different people. This is a chance to see that they're not separate at all, but two sides of the same coin. Your Antiscion is not a flaw or a weakness. It's a profound resource. By understanding it, you can start to intentionally integrate these energies, turning your quiet desires into conscious action. When you know that your practical, detail-oriented Virgo sun has a hidden Aries fire, you can consciously tap into that courage when you need to start something new. It's about seeing your chart not as a static blueprint, but as a dynamic map of your entire being, light and shadow included. Now that we've laid the groundwork for how Antiscion works, let's get specific and break down the 6 sacred pairs. Remember that these are not opposites. They are complementary echoes, sharing the same amount of daylight and creating a subtle, secret synergy. By understanding these pairs, you can begin to see your own hidden energies at play. The first pair is Aries and Virgo. At first glance, these two signs couldn't be more different. Aries is all about fire, impulsive action, and forward motion, while Virgo is about earth, careful planning, and meticulous detail. But their Antiscion connection reveals a fascinating truth. The fire of Aries needs a plan to burn effectively. Otherwise, it just consumes itself. The earth of Virgo needs that initiating spark to begin its work. So, if you have a planet in Aries, its shadow, its Antiscion, is in Virgo. This suggests that your direct pioneering energy is supported by a quiet, underlying need for order and method. You might be a person who jumps into things headfirst, but you're most successful when you secretly have all your ducks in a row. A person with a Virgo sun may seem like a grounded organizer, but their hidden Aries drive gives them the courage to start a project from scratch and take a risk when they need to. Next, we have Taurus and Leo, the steady bull and the magnificent lion. Both are fixed signs, which means they are rooted in their energy, but their expression is vastly different. Taurus is about grounding, sensuality, and quiet enjoyment of life's pleasures. Leo is about charisma, self-expression, and a need for the spotlight. Their Antiscion connection reveals a shared desire for value and worth. The Taurus-ruled parts of your chart find their shadow in a Leo need for appreciation and validation. You might be perfectly content with simple pleasures, but deep down, you need to feel admired for your creations. For the Leo, their shadow is in Taurus, suggesting their need to shine is rooted in a desire for security and a deep appreciation for tangible beauty. Their flair for the dramatic is subtly balanced by a need for comfort and stability. Then we move to Gemini and Cancer, the quick-witted communicator and the nurturing crab. Gemini is an air sign of mental curiosity, while Cancer is a water sign of emotional security. Their Antiscion connection reveals a shared focus on communication and community. The shadow of Gemini is in Cancer. This means that a curious, communicative Gemini energy is secretly motivated by a need for emotional security and belonging. Your desire to connect with everyone might be a quiet search for a sense of home. For Cancer, their shadow is in Gemini. The deep emotional world of a Cancer is balanced by a hidden intellectual curiosity and a need to communicate their feelings, even if they do so indirectly or through subtle cues. Fourth, we have Libra and Pisces. Both are sensitive and artistic, but their approach is entirely different. Libra is an air sign focused on balance, harmony, and relationships. Pisces is a water sign focused on intuition, spirituality, and boundless compassion. Their Antiscion connection links their sense of beauty and idealism. A planet in Libra has its shadow in Pisces, meaning its need for perfect harmony is secretly supported by a deep spiritual desire for surrender and an emotional boundary-less connection to all. Your quest for balance might be a hidden search for unconditional love. For the Pisces, their shadow in Libra means their ethereal, compassionate nature is grounded by a quiet need for partnership and a sense of fairness. They may seem to float through life, but they are subtly seeking a mirrored equal to share their journey with. Fifth is Scorpio and Aquarius, the intense, transformational Scorpion and the eccentric humanitarian water bearer. Their Antiscion connection is about power and innovation. The shadow of Scorpio is in Aquarius. This means the intense, deep-diving energy of Scorpio is secretly driven by a need for detachment and a desire to contribute to the collective. Your need to control and transform may be a hidden quest for freedom. For the Aquarius, their shadow is in Scorpio, suggesting their futuristic group-oriented vision is rooted in a powerful, unspoken need for deep transformation and emotional intensity. Their cool, intellectual exterior might hide a well of powerful, fixed emotions. Finally, we have Sagittarius and Capricorn. The optimistic adventurer and the disciplined builder both are focused on ambition and expansion, but in very different ways. Their Antiscion connection reveals a shared drive toward goals. A planet in Sagittarius has its shadow in Capricorn. This suggests that your quest for freedom and wisdom is secretly motivated by a deep need for structure, discipline, and tangible achievement. Your wanderlust is subtly seeking a destination. For the Capricorn, their shadow in Sagittarius means they're ambitious. Structured drive is secretly fueled by a need for adventure and a philosophical quest for meaning. Their serious nature is balanced by a quiet inner desire to explore and expand beyond all boundaries. Now, take a moment to look at your own sun sign and find its Antiscion pair. How does this shadow sign resonate with you? Can you see a part of your character, an unconscious habit or desire that aligns with this hidden energy? This isn't about becoming a new person. It's about seeing the whole person you've always been. Now that you have a feel for the energetic pairs, let's get practical. The real magic of Antiscion lies in applying it to your own chart. You'll want to have your birth chart in front of you, either printed out or on a screen. Don't worry if this sounds complicated. The process is actually quite simple. You're just finding the mirror image of your planets across that solstice axis we talked about, the 0 Cancer, 0 Capricorn line. The easiest way to do this is to use a simple table or chart. All you need to know is that if a planet is at a certain degree in its sign, its Antiscion point will be at the same degree in its corresponding shadow sign. For example, if your sun is at 10 degrees Aries, you'll look for the Antiscion pair for Aries, which we know is Virgo. So, your sun's Antiscion will be at 20 degrees Virgo. Wait, why 20 and not 10? The degrees are mirrored. Think of that solstice axis as a mirror. The first half of the zodiac Aries to Virgo mirrors the second half, Libra to Pisces. So, a planet at 10 in a sign mirrors to 20 in its Antiscion sign. Similarly, 15 mirrors to 15 and 25 mirrors to 5. It's a simple calculation. 30 your planet's degree equals Antiscion degree. So, if your sun is at 10 Aries, the Antiscion degree is 301,020 Virgo. You can do this for every single planet in your chart: Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, and the outer planets too. The same rule applies. If your moon is at 25 degrees of Taurus, its shadow is in Leo. The degree would be 3025 equals 5. So your moon's Antiscion is at 5 degrees of Leo. You'll find a complete list of the pairs and their corresponding degrees in many online resources. This process can seem like a small mathematical exercise, but the insights you'll uncover are profound. Let's try a real-world example. Imagine you have a Venus in Gemini at 5 degrees. You know that Gemini's Antiscion sign is Cancer. The degree calculation is 30,525. So your Venus's Antiscion point is at 25 degrees Cancer. What does this mean? Your Venus in Gemini loves to flirt, talk, and engage in a lot of intellectual curiosity around love and relationships. It's all very light and airy, but secretly, underneath all that chat, your Venus has a deep, quiet desire for security, family, and emotional nurturing, all represented by Cancer. You might not consciously lead with this, but it's a powerful hidden motivation that shapes who you are drawn to and what you truly need to feel loved. The same principle applies to your moon, Mercury, Mars, and every other planet. You'll find that your entire chart has this secret mirrored life. The key is not just to find the sign and degree, but to also note the house this Antiscion point falls into. We'll get into houses more in a later section, but for now, just note the house number. If your Venus S Antiscia is at 25 degrees Cancer, and that falls in your 7th house of relationships, you know that your hidden need for emotional security and family is what quietly guides your partnerships. This is where your unconscious actions and instincts play out in the world. So, take a moment now. Find your sun sign and its degree. Calculate its anti-stay point. What sign and house does it fall into? Just sit with that for a minute. Does this hidden energy feel familiar to you on some level, even if it's not the part of you that's usually on display? By doing this simple exercise, you're already beginning the process of integrating your light and your shadow. Once you've calculated your Antiscia points, your life force, and the way you consciously express yourself in the world, it's what you know yourself to be. But the sun's Antiscia placement reveals a different story. It's a hidden complementary aspect of your core identity that operates in the background. It's the part of you that supports your main expression without you even realizing it. We already know that the Antiscia of Aries is Virgo, and because it's at 15 degrees, it's a perfect mirror, landing at 15 degrees Virgo. Your conscious identity is that of a trailblazing, pioneering, and courageous individual. It's that of a Virgo. This means that you're fiery. Spontaneous nature is quietly supported by an underlying need for order, method, and perfection. You may not consciously seek to organize or plan, but you find that your best, most successful actions are a result of this hidden You might have spent your entire life feeling like you had to be this one strong, decisive Aries. But you've also felt this strange pull toward quiet, detailed work. It's your sun's Antiscia working to support your main solar purpose. The sun's Antiscia is often where you find your unconscious, effortless strengths. It's the part of you that just is. You don't have to try to be this person. You just are. It's how you show up in private moments, or in times of crisis when your conscious identity is less important than your survival instincts. For a person with a Leo sun whose Antiscia is in Taurus, their bright, attention-seeking charisma is balanced by a deep, quiet need for security, sensuality, and consistency. They may love the stage, but what truly grounds them is the feeling of a cozy home and the comfort of their favorite blanket. This is not something they necessarily broadcast to the world, but it's a vital part of what makes them feel whole. By understanding your sun's Antiscia, you can begin to integrate this hidden energy consciously. For the Aries, you can stop feeling guilty about your need for a plan and start to actively embrace your inner Virgo. You can recognize that your impulsiveness is at its best when it's built on a foundation of quiet, methodical preparation. For the Leo, you can honor your need for security by intentionally carving out time for rest and relaxation, knowing that it's not a sign of weakness but a vital part of what refuels you. This insight also helps you understand why you might feel an affinity for people with that sign. They can help you ground your impulses and turn your ideas into reality. This isn't a coincidence. It's the universe showing you how to find balance. So, take a moment. This is your core, the very foundation of who you are. Now, with all its beautiful complexities revealed, now let's turn our attention to the moon. While the sun represents your conscious identity and your life's purpose, the moon governs your emotional world, your instincts, and your most private, nurturing side. It's the part of you that responds to the world and seeks comfort. But your moon's Antiscia tells you about your emotional unconscious, the needs and security triggers that you may not even realize you have. This is where you find the secret emotional habits that ground you, the ways you comfort yourself when no one is looking, and the hidden desires that you instinctively pursue. Let's imagine your moon is in Libra. This means you consciously seek emotional security through harmony, balance, and relationships. You're a natural peacemaker, and you feel most comfortable when your environment is peaceful and fair. But the moon's Antiscia for Libra is in Pisces. So, if your Libra moon is at 10 degrees, its Antiscia is at 20 degrees Pisces. This suggests that while you consciously seek balance and partnership, your unconscious emotional world is deeply spiritual and compassionate. You might have a hidden need to surrender, to connect with something larger than yourself, and to feel a sense of boundless, unconditional love. This can show up in unexpected ways. You might find yourself drawn to spiritual practices or fantasy worlds, even if they seem out of sync with your logical Libra nature. You might also have a deep, unspoken capacity for empathy that you don't show to others, as if you can feel the pain of the world without needing to fix it. This isn't a contradiction, it's a beautiful duality. Your conscious self seeks harmony in the real world, while your unconscious self seeks emotional solace in the spiritual or imaginative realm. Think about a time when you were feeling completely overwhelmed. What did you instinctively do to find comfort? Did you turn to a close friend? Or did you retreat into a world of music or meditation? Your moon's Antiscia can illuminate that very instinct. It's a key to understanding your deepest emotional needs. For the person with the Libra moon and Pisces Antiscia, their conscious need for conversation might be met with a sudden, overwhelming urge to be alone and listen to a powerful piece of music or watch a deeply moving film. This is their emotional shadow, their Piscean side. taking over and providing the quiet comfort they truly need. This is a powerful tool for self-care. If you feel like your conscious coping mechanisms aren't working, your moon's Antiscion might be telling you what you truly need. For a moon in Sagittarius, Antiscion in Capricorn, your conscious emotional security comes from freedom and new experiences. But your shadow needs are in Capricorn, suggesting a hidden need for structure, discipline, and tangible achievement to feel truly safe. You might think you need to travel to feel better, but what you really need is to set a concrete goal and work toward it. This also plays out in your relationships. Your conscious moon sign might tell you what you need from a partner, but your moon's Antiscion can show you what you're secretly looking for in a relationship that's quiet. Unspoken connection that makes you feel truly safe. Your partner might unconsciously provide this energy for you, creating a bond that is deeper than words. So, take a moment now to find your moon's Antiscion sign and its house. What does this tell you about your hidden emotional needs? How do you comfort yourself when no one is watching? And what are the quiet, unspoken needs that guide your heart? Now, let's talk about Mercury. Mercury is the planet of communication, thought, and intellect. It governs how you process information, how you learn, and how you express your ideas to the world. But your Mercury's Antiscion placement reveals a different side of your mind, the secret language you speak to yourself. It's the quiet, unexpressed thoughts, the hidden communication patterns, and the subtle mental processes that shape your inner world. This is where your mind works when no one is listening. Let's say you have a Mercury in Scorpio. On the surface, you are a deep, probing, and intense communicator. You love to get to the bottom of things and are not afraid of uncomfortable truths. You communicate with a powerful, penetrating energy. But the Antiscion of Scorpio is Aquarius. So if your Mercury is at 10 degrees Scorpio, its Antiscion point is at 20 degrees Aquarius. This suggests that while your conscious communication is intense and focused, your secret mental world is detached, innovative, and humanitarian. You might process information by instinctively looking at the big picture and considering the collective, even when you're focused on a single person or issue. Your sharp, piercing questions are quietly fueled by a desire for revolutionary change. This can manifest in your life in subtle ways. For example, you might be known for your powerful one-on-one conversations, but you secretly spend hours researching global issues or contemplating how technology can improve society. You might find yourself drawn to quirky, unconventional ideas that seem completely out of character with your intense persona. This isn't a contradiction. It's your Mercury's Antiscion at work, providing a detached, analytical lens that balances your emotional intensity. This is a powerful tool for understanding your own thought processes. When you're struggling to solve a problem, you might instinctively turn to the energy of your Mercury's Antiscion. For the Mercury in Scorpio, instead of digging deeper into the emotional layers, they might find a solution by stepping back and looking at the issue from a completely different, detached perspective. They can tap into that inner Aquarian innovator to find a breakthrough. Your Mercury's Antiscion also shows up in how you listen and what you truly hear. While your conscious Mercury placement might be processing information in a certain way, your shadow Mercury is listening for something else entirely. The Scorpio Mercury might be listening for hidden motives and secrets, but its Antiscion in Aquarius is listening for the big humanitarian themes, or the subtle ways in which the other person is trying to break free from tradition. So, take a moment to look at your Mercury's Antiscion sign in its house. What does this reveal about your inner dialogue and your secret thoughts? How does this hidden mental energy manifest in your life, even if you never put a name to it? This is about understanding the full spectrum of your brilliant mind, both what you express and what you quietly contemplate. Let's now turn our focus to Venus, the planet of love, beauty, values, and desire. Venus in your chart tells you what you love, what you're attracted to, and what makes you feel worthy. But your Venus's Antiscion placement reveals a deeper, more subtle layer. The unseen roots of your love and desire. This is where you'll find the unconscious desires, the hidden aesthetic sensibilities, and the secret values that guide your relationships and sense of worth when you're not even aware of it. Let's use an example. Imagine your Venus is in Gemini. This suggests you are attracted to intellectual connections, witty banter, and a variety of interests. You feel worthy when you can communicate your thoughts and ideas, and you find beauty in conversation and curiosity. Your approach to love is light, airy, and engaging, but the Antiscion of Gemini is Cancer. So if your Venus is at 15 degrees Gemini, its Antiscion point is at 15 degrees Cancer. This means that while you consciously seek mental stimulation in relationships, your hidden Venusian needs are deeply emotional and rooted in the desire for a sense of home and family. You may flirt and talk to everyone, but your heart is quietly seeking a safe, nurturing harbor. This duality can be a source of confusion if you don't understand it. You might find yourself in a relationship that is intellectually stimulating but emotionally unfulfilling. Or you might be drawn to people who offer emotional security, even if the conversation isn't always sparkling. Your Venus's Antiscia explains this. It's the quiet need that's been guiding you all along. For the Venus in Gemini, their intellectual pursuits in love are secretly a search for someone to create a home with, a safe space where they can be vulnerable. This also impacts your sense of self-worth. A person with Venus in Gemini might feel worthy when they're told they're smart or funny, but what truly nourishes their sense of self-worth is the feeling of being loved and cared for in a deep, emotional way, and of creating something meaningful with another person, a quiet, unspoken bond that transcends words. This is their Venusian shadow at work, a hidden well of value that needs to be acknowledged and nourished. You can also see this in your aesthetic tastes. The Gemini Venus might consciously appreciate modern, minimalist, and witty art, but their contra-antiscia might secretly be drawn to antique furniture, sentimental family photos, and anything that has a history or a story. It's the art you quietly collect for yourself, not for public display. It's the music that you listen to when you're alone that speaks to your soul, not just your mind. So, take a moment to look at your Venus's Antiscion sign and its house. What does this tell you about your hidden desires and values? How do you secretly seek love and feel worthy, even if it's not what you consciously express? Understanding this can help you stop looking for the wrong kind of love and start acknowledging what your heart truly needs. It's a key to finding a relationship that nourishes not just your mind, but your soul. Let's move on to Mars, the planet of action, drive, and assertion. Mars in your chart shows how you pursue your desires, how you fight for what you want, and where you put your energy. It's your raw, assertive force. But your Mars's Antiscia reveals a completely different side, your passive drive. This placement illuminates your more subtle or unconscious motivations, your instinctual energy, and how you assert yourself without even realizing you're doing it. It's the behind-the-scenes engine that powers your more overt actions. Let's imagine your Mars is in Libra. This means you consciously pursue your desires through collaboration, fairness, and diplomacy. Your style is to assert yourself by seeking a balanced, harmonious solution. You're a peacemaker and a diplomat, and you get things done by bringing people together. But the Antiscia of Libra is Pisces. So, if your Mars is at 10 degrees Libra, its Antiscia point is at 20 degrees Pisces. This suggests that while you are a master of open negotiation, your secret Martian drive is fueled by compassion and a spiritual or intuitive sense of what is right. Your desire to create harmony is rooted in a quiet need to help others and to feel a sense of unity with the collective. This can be a surprising revelation. You might find yourself passively, almost unconsciously, working behind the scenes for a charitable cause or lending a hand to someone in need. Not for the praise, but because it feels instinctively right. Your need to create peace in your relationships is not just about fairness. It's about a deep, unconscious desire for a boundless, selfless connection. You might be a skilled debater, but you secretly have a strong spiritual motive that quietly guides you. Your Mars's Antiscia reveals that your actions are not just driven by logic, but by a hidden well of empathy and spiritual purpose. This is a powerful tool for understanding your own passive-aggressive tendencies. You may not consciously realize why you're avoiding a conflict, but your Mars Antiscia might be telling you that your passive avoidance is a way of protecting yourself from emotional turmoil. Instead of confrontation, your shadow Mars might be pushing you to use your intuition to navigate a tricky situation, to know when to surrender instead of fight. It's a very different kind of strength, and it's one you can learn to harness. Think about a time when you got something done not through brute force, but through a gentle, intuitive push. That was your Mars's shadow at work. For the Mars in Libra with a Pisces Antiscia, instead of confronting an unjust situation head-on, you might instinctively create an atmosphere of understanding that makes the conflict dissolve on its own. You are asserting yourself, but you are doing it in a gentle, almost magical way. So, take a moment to look at your Mars's Antiscia sign and its house. What does this tell you about your quiet motivations and your instinctual energy? How do you get things done without even realizing you're doing it? This is about embracing the full spectrum of your drive. Not just the part that is out in the open, but the subtle, powerful engine that guides your every step. Let's now turn to the beneficent giant of the zodiac, Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of expansion, growth, luck, and wisdom. It shows where you seek to grow and where you find abundance in your life. But your Jupiter's Antiscia placement reveals a different kind of blessing, the hidden areas of expansion and opportunity that you may not consciously recognize. It's the quiet, often subtle ways that luck, intuitive guidance, and growth come into your life. It's the behind-the-scenes magic that opens doors for you. Let's imagine your Jupiter is in Scorpio. This suggests that you find luck and expansion through deep, transformative experiences. You're a natural investigator and you grow by uncovering secrets, sharing power, and engaging in intense emotional processes. Your luck often comes through crisis or rebirth. But the Antiscia of Scorpio is Aquarius. So, if your Jupiter is at 15 degrees Scorpio, its Antiscia point is at 15 degrees Aquarius. This means that while you consciously seek growth through intensity, your hidden Jupiterian blessings come through unexpected, unconventional, and detached sources. Your greatest growth may not come from digging deep, but from stepping back and seeing the big picture. Your luck may be found in connecting with a group or a community, or through a sudden, brilliant idea that seemingly comes out of nowhere. This can be a truly powerful revelation. You might be focused on one-on-one transformative work, but you find that your life changes for the better when you get involved in a collective cause or when you volunteer for a humanitarian project. Your greatest wisdom may not come from a deep, personal revelation, but from a sudden, insightful conversation with a friend that broadens your perspective. Your Jupiter's Antiscia tells you that while your conscious focus is on the individual, your hidden abundance is found in the collective. This is a powerful tool for inviting more luck into your life. When you feel stuck and are trying to force a breakthrough, you might be looking in the wrong place. Your Jupiter's Antiscia might be telling you to try something completely different. For the Jupiter in Scorpio, instead of trying to control a situation, they might find a solution by letting go and trusting in the unexpected. They can consciously seek out group activities or collaborations, knowing that this is where their true, hidden blessings lie. Think about a time when an unexpected opportunity came your way. It felt like a stroke of luck, but you couldn't quite put your finger on why. It's very possible that a planetary transit was activating your Jupiter's Antiscia point. It brought a hidden blessing to the surface, one that was always waiting for you, but you just weren't consciously looking for it. This also impacts your sense of wisdom. You may consciously seek wisdom through deep study or personal experience, but your shadow Jupiter knows that true wisdom comes from a broader, more detached perspective. It's the intuitive knowledge that you gain from a moment of stillness, or from a random conversation that feels like a message from the universe. So, take a moment to look at your Jupiter's Antiscia sign and its house. What does this tell you about the quiet, subtle ways that blessings and opportunities come into your life? How can you consciously tap into this hidden reservoir of luck and wisdom? This is about understanding that your path to abundance is not always a straight line, but a winding road of both light and shadow. Now, let's talk about Saturn, the planet of discipline, structure, and responsibility. Saturn governs your fears, your lessons, and the areas where you are required to put in hard work to build a solid foundation. But your Saturn's Antiscia placement reveals a different kind of karmic lesson, the more subtle or unconscious responsibilities and fears that you must confront for true personal growth. It's the hidden, often unseen, burdens you carry that quietly shape your life's path. Let's use an example. Imagine your Saturn is in Sagittarius. This suggests that your conscious lessons are about belief systems, freedom, and higher education. You've had to work hard to establish your own philosophy, to find your truth, and to overcome fears about a lack of meaning or a fear of commitment. But the Antiscia of Sagittarius is Capricorn. So, if your Saturn is at 10 degrees Sagittarius, its Antiscia point is at 20 degrees Capricorn. This means that while you're consciously working on expanding your horizons, your hidden Saturnian lessons are about structure, authority, and tangible achievement. Your fear of being tied down may secretly be a fear of failing to build a solid legacy, or a fear of not being seen as a competent leader. This duality can be a source of a lot of frustration. You might find yourself on an endless quest for freedom, but you feel a strange sense of unease or unfulfillment that you can't explain. This is your Saturn's Antiscia at work, telling you that your spiritual quest will only be meaningful if it's built on a solid, disciplined foundation. You might resist taking on a leadership role or building a stable career because you feel it limits your freedom. But your shadow Saturn knows that this is exactly what you need to feel secure and fulfilled. The lesson is not about one or the other. It's about integrating them. Your Saturn's Antiscia often points to an unconscious area of fear or limitation that you have to face. For the Saturn in Sagittarius, they might be publicly philosophical and adventurous, but they secretly harbor a deep fear of failure or a fear of not being able to provide for themselves. This fear can quietly sabotage their efforts to expand. By bringing this to light, you can consciously work on it. You can create a structure for your travels or apply your philosophical wisdom to building a practical, tangible plan. This also impacts your relationship with authority. You may consciously rebel against authority figures, a Sagittarius trait, but your Saturn's Antiscia in Capricorn suggests that you are secretly seeking to become your own authority, to be the one in charge. Your resistance to rules is a hidden drive to create your own. This isn't a contradiction. It's a beautiful progression. You break away from tradition not just for the sake of it, but because you have a hidden need to build something new and lasting. So, take a moment to look at your Saturn's Antiscia sign and its house. What does this tell you about your hidden fears and the unconscious lessons you must learn? How can you consciously integrate this shadow energy to build a more secure and meaningful life? This is about embracing the entire scope of your responsibilities, both seen and unseen, and turning your greatest challenges into your greatest strengths. Let's now turn to the unexpected and revolutionary planet, Uranus. Uranus governs sudden change, innovation, and rebellion. It shows where you seek freedom and where you break from tradition. But your Uranus' Antiscion placement reveals a different kind of change. The surprising or unconventional shifts that occur in a more understated way in your life, it's the quiet revolutions and the subtle, almost imperceptible, shifts in your consciousness that lead to profound change. Let's imagine your Uranus is in Scorpio. This suggests that your conscious rebellions are deep, intense, and focused on breaking power structures. You seek freedom through emotional transformation, and you are attracted to unconventional taboo topics. You're a force for change in the hidden psychological world. But the Antiscion of Scorpio is Aquarius. So if your Uranus is at 15 degrees Scorpio, its Antiscion point is at 15 degrees Aquarius. This means that while you consciously seek to transform things from the inside out, your hidden Uranian energy is expressed through a quiet, detached, and humanitarian desire for collective change. Your intense personal breakthroughs are secretly fueling a need for broader, more impersonal revolutions. This can manifest in a very subtle way. You might be focused on a personal healing journey, but you find that your insights and breakthroughs are not just for you. They are quietly inspiring others in your community. You might be a therapist who helps people with deep psychological issues, but you find that you are drawn to group therapy or online forums where your insights can reach a wider audience. Your Uranus' Antiscion is telling you that your personal revolution is meant to be a part of a larger collective awakening. This is a powerful tool for understanding your own relationship with change. You may consciously be pushing for a radical shift in your personal life, but your Uranus' Antiscion might be telling you that the real breakthrough comes from a quiet, internal shift in your perspective. You may not be a public activist, but your shadow, Uranus, is quietly working behind the scenes, creating a ripple effect of change through your detached and unconventional ideas. Think about a time when you had a sudden brilliant idea that seemed to come out of nowhere. It felt like a flash of insight, but you couldn't quite put your finger on where it came from. It's very possible that your Uranus' Antiscion was being activated. It brought a quiet revolution to your mind, one that was not loud or explosive but subtle and profound. This also impacts your sense of freedom. You may consciously seek freedom through breaking emotional bonds, Scorpio, but your shadow Uranus knows that true freedom comes from detaching yourself from emotional drama and seeing the big picture. It's the freedom of the mind, not just the emotions. You may be fighting for personal liberation, but your soul is secretly seeking to liberate the entire collective. So, take a moment to look at your Uranus' Antiscion sign and its house. What does this tell you about the quiet, understated revolutions in your life? How can you consciously invite more of this subtle yet powerful change into your world? This is about understanding that your path to freedom is not always about a big, explosive event, but a series of small, quiet, and meaningful shifts. Let's now explore Neptune, the planet of dreams, illusions, and spirituality. Neptune governs your intuition, your creative inspiration, and your connection to the mystical. But your Neptune-S Antiscion placement reveals a different side of this energy, the realm of your unconscious spiritual longings, your hidden artistic inspirations, and the subtle ways in which you might deceive yourself or others. It's the behind-the-scenes fantasy world that quietly guides your life. Let's use an example. Imagine your Neptune is in Sagittarius. This suggests that your conscious spiritual quest is about seeking truth through travel, higher learning, and philosophy. You are drawn to grand visions and optimistic ideals. You find inspiration in boundless experiences, but the Antiscion of Sagittarius is Capricorn. So, if your Neptune is at 15 degrees Sagittarius, its Antiscion point is at 15 degrees Capricorn. This means that while you consciously seek spiritual truth in the abstract, your hidden Neptune energy is deeply connected to tangible structures, discipline, and material manifestation. Your dreams are not just for the sake of dreaming. They are quietly guiding you to build something real and lasting. This can be a surprising revelation. You might be a spiritual seeker who loves to talk about philosophical concepts, but you find that your greatest insights come from a moment of quiet, disciplined meditation or from the simple act of building something with your hands. You might be drawn to abstract art, but your hidden inspiration comes from the discipline and structure of classical forms. Your Neptune-S Antiscion is telling you that your spiritual and creative ideals are not meant to float in the ether. They are meant to be grounded and given form. This is a powerful tool for navigating the waters of illusion and self-deception. Your Neptune's Antiscion might reveal the subtle ways you delude yourself, For the Neptune in Sagittarius, you might be deceiving yourself into believing that your spiritual path is only about freedom and expansion, when in fact you are quietly avoiding the discipline and hard work that is required to make your dreams a reality. By understanding this, you can stop running from responsibility and start building a tangible foundation for your spiritual life. Think about a time when a powerful idea for a creative project came to you. It felt like a whisper from the universe, but you couldn't quite put your finger on how it came to you. It's very possible that your Neptune's Antiscion was at work, bringing a mystical, ethereal idea into a practical, tangible form. This also impacts your sense of intuition. You may consciously seek intuition through dreams or visions, Sagittarius, but your shadow Neptune knows that true intuition comes from a place of discipline and structure. It's the quiet voice that guides you when you are focused on a task and in a state of flow. It's the knowing that comes not from a big spiritual epiphany, but from the simple, grounded act of living your life with intention. So, take a moment to look at your Neptune's Antiscion sign and its house. What does this tell you about your hidden spiritual longings and the quiet inspirations that guide your life? How can you consciously ground your dreams and turn them into a beautiful, tangible reality? This is about understanding that your spiritual path is not just about the big picture, but about the small, quiet, and meaningful steps you take every day. We now arrive at Pluto, the planet of transformation, death, and rebirth. Pluto governs the deepest parts of your psyche, your power dynamics, and the intense psychological transformations you go through in your life. But your Pluto's Antiscion placement reveals a different side of this energy, the deep, often unconscious psychological transformations and power dynamics you experience in your life. It's the behind-the-scenes underworld that quietly shapes your reality. Let's use an example. Imagine your Pluto is in Scorpio. This is a powerful generational placement. This suggests that your conscious, transformative journey is about power, control, and a deep psychological understanding of life and death. You are drawn to the hidden, the taboo, and the intense. Your power comes from uncovering secrets and transforming yourself and others from the inside out. But the Antiscion of Scorpio is Aquarius. So, if your Pluto is at 15 degrees Scorpio, its Antiscion point is at 15 degrees Aquarius. This means that while you consciously seek to transform yourself on a personal level, your hidden Plutonian power is expressed through a quiet, detached, and humanitarian desire for collective transformation. This can be a surprising revelation. You might be focused on one-on-one psychological work, but you find that your insights and breakthroughs are not just for you. They are quietly inspiring others in your community. You might be a therapist who helps people with deep psychological issues, but you find that you are drawn to group therapy or online forums, where your insights can reach a wider audience. Your Pluto's Antiscion is telling you that your personal transformation is meant to be a part of a larger collective awakening. This is a powerful tool for understanding your own relationship with power. You may consciously seek power through control and intensity, Scorpio, but your Pluto's Antiscion might be telling you that the real power comes from a quiet internal shift in your perspective. You may not be a public activist, but your shadow Pluto is quietly working behind the scenes, creating a ripple effect of change through your detached and unconventional ideas. Think about a time when you had a sudden, profound shift in your perspective that changed your life forever. It felt like a deep internal transformation, but you couldn't quite put your finger on how it came to you. It's very possible that your Pluto's Antiscion was being activated. It brought a quiet revolution to your mind. One that was not loud or explosive, but subtle and profound. This also impacts your sense of healing. You may consciously seek healing through deep emotional catharsis, Scorpio, but your shadow Pluto knows that true healing comes from detaching yourself from emotional drama and seeing the big picture. It's the healing of the mind, not just the emotions. You may be fighting for personal liberation, but your soul is secretly seeking to liberate the entire collective. So, take a moment to look at your Pluto's Antiscion sign and its house. What does this tell you about the quiet, understated transformations in your life? How can you consciously invite more of this subtle yet powerful change into your world? This is about understanding that your path to freedom is not always about a big. The sign tells you the flavor of the energy, the how of its expression. The house tells you the arena of action, the where in your life that this energy plays out. By combining these two, you get a much more nuanced and practical understanding of your hidden shadow. Let's use an example. Remember our Venus in Gemini, whose Antiscion is at 15 degrees Cancer? Now, let's say that 15 degrees Cancer falls in your 7th house of partnerships. Your conscious Venus in Gemini loves witty banter and intellectual curiosity in relationships, and that plays out in whatever house your Gemini Venus is in. But your shadow Venus, that hidden Cancer energy, operates in your 7th house. This means that while you consciously seek mental stimulation in relationships, your deep hidden need for emotional security and family is what quietly guides your partnerships. This isn't something you advertise on a dating app. It's the silent need that shapes your choices and your desires. You might not realize it, but you're unconsciously looking for someone to build a home with. And that need is being expressed in the very area of your life where you seek partnership. The house placement of your Antiscia points is a powerful guide to where your unconscious actions and instincts play out in the world. It's where your secret self is active. If your sun's Antiscia is in your 10th house of career, in public image you might find that the hidden part of your identity is what actually builds your career. A Leo sun with a Taurus Antiscia in the 10th house might consciously seek fame and recognition, but their career success is quietly built on a foundation of discipline, hard work, and a steady accumulation of resources. The world sees the lion, but the bull is what's truly building the empire. Think about a time when you got a new job or a new opportunity and you couldn't quite explain how it came about. It's very possible that your Antiscia placements were at work in that house. More behind-the-scenes kind of luck that you didn't consciously pursue. The house placement of your Antiscia also reveals where you might feel a hidden pull or a quiet sense of destiny. You may consciously be a person who loves to travel and be on the move, but you feel an unexplainable pull to settle down and create a home. This is a profound tool for self-discovery and for making your life feel more whole. By understanding the house placement of your Antiscia points, you can start to intentionally integrate these energies. If your Mercury's Antiscia is in your 11th house of community and friends, you can consciously seek out groups where you can express your ideas in a quiet, detached way. You can start a book club or a spiritual group, knowing that this is where your mind's shadow wants to be. So, take a moment to look at your chart again. Find the house of each of your Antiscia points. What does this tell you about the arenas of your life where your shadow self is most active? How does this information help you make sense of your unconscious actions and desires? Now that we've explored the individual planets and their Antiscia placements, let's talk about how they interact with each other. This is where the chart really starts to sing. We're not just looking at a single planet's shadow. We're re-looking at the inner dialogue created when one planet's Antiscia forms an aspect to another planet in your chart. This creates a powerful, though often unconscious, conversation between different parts of your psyche. An aspect is a specific, angular relationship between two planets. You might have a conjunction, an opposition, a square, or a trine in your natal chart. But what about the aspect between a planet's Antiscia and another planet? This is a hidden aspect, a secret link that is just as powerful, if not more so, than the visible aspects in your chart. It reveals how your shadow self, your unconscious motivations, are influencing your conscious expression. Let's use an example. Imagine you have a natal Mercury in Gemini. This is an air sign, so you are a quick, witty, and communicative person. But let's say your natal Venus is in Cancer. This is a water sign, so your love and values are emotional, nurturing, and sensitive. On the surface, you might feel a tension between these two parts of yourself. Your mind wants to be light and curious, but your heart wants to be deep and secure. Now, let's look at the Antiscia connection. The Antiscia of your Mercury in Gemini is in Cancer. So let us say your Mercury is at 15 degrees Gemini, and your Venus is at 15 degrees Cancer. They are a perfect Antiscia pair. This is a powerful, unconscious connection. It means that your mind's intellectual curiosity, Mercury in Gemini, is secretly and effortlessly working in harmony with your heart's need for emotional security, Venus in Cancer. This reveals a profound truth about you. The tension you thought you felt between your mind and your heart is not a tension at all. It's a silent, powerful synergy. Your quick mind is not running away from emotion. It is quietly searching for a safe place to land. Your intellectual flirtations are not shallow. They are a hidden way of testing the waters to see if a person is a safe, nurturing harbor for your heart. This is a beautiful, though often unseen, inner dialogue that is guiding your actions and your desires. This can happen with any planet. Imagine your sun's Antiscia in Taurus is trining your natal Mars in Capricorn. A trine is a harmonious aspect. This means that your hidden identity Taurus is effortlessly and unconsciously supporting your drive and ambition Mars in Capricorn. You may not consciously realize it, but the part of you that is grounded, steady, and disciplined Taurus is what's truly fueling your ambition and drive to build a career Mars in Capricorn. Your quiet strength is the engine for your success. This insight can be a profound source of self-acceptance. You can stop feeling like you have to be one way or another and start to see yourself as a beautifully complex and integrated being. Your shadow isn't something to be afraid of. It's a powerful and supportive part of you. By understanding these Antiscia aspects, you can begin to consciously work with them, turning your quietest inner dialogues into your most powerful assets. So, take a moment. Look at your chart and find the Antiscia points for your planets. Do any of them form a major aspect, conjunction, opposition, trine, square, to another planet in your natal chart? If so, what does that quiet inner conversation sound like? This is a key to unlocking a deeper understanding of your psyche. We've explored the planets and their Antiscion, but what about the most important angles of your chart, the ascendant and the midheaven? These are not planets, but they are incredibly powerful points that define your public persona and your life's purpose. The Antiscion of these angles reveals the hidden drivers of your public persona and the quiet, often unacknowledged path to your career and purpose. Let's start with the ascendant, or rising sign. This is the sign that was on the eastern horizon at the moment of your birth. It's the mask you wear, your physical appearance, and the way you project yourself to the world. But your ascendant's Antiscion tells you about the hidden complementary energy that is always present in your public image. It's a quiet, subtle energy that people feel from you, even if they can't put their finger on it. For example, if you have a Libra ascendant, your public persona is one of grace, charm, and a desire for harmony. You are seen as balanced and fair. But the Antiscion of Libra is Pisces. So if your ascendant is at 15 degrees Libra, your Antiscion point is at 15 degrees Pisces. This suggests that while you consciously present a poised and diplomatic image, there is a hidden Piscean energy of empathy, spirituality, and surrender that is always present. People may not see you as a dreamer, but they feel your quiet compassion. This is the secret sauce of your charm. It's not just your social grace, but your ability to intuitively connect with others on a deeper level. You may be trying to be the perfect host, but your shadow self is what's truly connecting with your guests on an unspoken level. Now, let's talk about the midheaven, or MC. This is the highest point of your chart, and it represents your career, your public standing, and your ultimate life purpose. But your midheaven's Antiscion reveals a hidden complementary path to your purpose. It's the quiet, behind-the-scenes work that is essential to your public success. For example, if your midheaven is in Scorpio, your conscious life purpose is about transformation, power, and deep psychological work. You are meant to be a leader in a field that requires you to uncover secrets or navigate intense situations. But the Antiscion of Scorpio is Aquarius. So if your midheaven is at 15 degrees Scorpio, your Antiscion point is at 15 degrees Aquarius. This suggests that while you are consciously building a career based on deep personal transformation, your hidden Aquarian side is what is truly driving your success. Your need to transform on a personal level is secretly fueled by a desire to contribute to the collective and to create a more humanitarian world. Your conscious ambition to be a powerful leader is quietly supported by a need to serve a greater purpose. This is a powerful tool for understanding your career path and your public image. You may be trying to be one thing, but your shadow self is what's truly guiding you. For the Scorpio midheaven, instead of trying to be a controlling leader, they might find their greatest success when they detach themselves from the outcome and trust in the collective wisdom of their team. Their quiet Aquarian side is what truly makes them an effective leader. So, take a moment to look at your ascendant and midheaven's Antiscion points. What does this tell you about the hidden drivers of your public persona and your life's purpose? How can you consciously integrate this shadow energy to become a more whole and authentic version of yourself? This is about understanding that your true power lies not just in what you show the world, but in the quiet, unseen depths of your being. Now, let us expand the conversation to a topic that is near and dear to many of our hearts. Relationships. Antiscion can add a profound layer of understanding to synastry, the art of comparing to people's charts. We're used to looking for traditional aspects in synastry: Sun, conjunct Moon, Venus, trine Mars, and so on. But using Antiscion in synastry can reveal a powerful, often unspoken bond or a deep karmic connection between two people. It's the secret sauce of a relationship, the quiet, almost psychic pull that brings two people together. Think about a time you met someone and felt an instant, unexplainable connection, but their chart didn't seem to have any major conjunctions or trines to yours. It's very possible that their Antiscion points were interacting with your planets, creating a subconscious pull. It's the kind of connection that exists in the unspoken, in the subtle dance of a relationship. It's not the lightning bolt of a sun-sun conjunction. It's the quiet hum of two souls recognizing each other's shadow. Here's how it works. You look for a person's natal planet that is in the same degree as your own planet's Antiscion point. For example, let's say your sun is at 10 degrees Leo. Its Antiscion point is at 20 degrees Taurus. Now, let's say you meet someone and their natal moon is at 20 degrees Taurus. This is a powerful, though often unconscious, Antiscion connection. Your conscious identity sun in Leo is being met by their unconscious emotional needs moon in Taurus. They are providing a safe, secure, and grounded emotional space for your sun to shine. This isn't a loud, obvious connection. It's a quiet, comforting one. You may not be able to put your finger on it, but you feel safe and secure with this person, as if they understand you on a level that goes beyond words. This also works in reverse. Your planet can be at the Antiscion point of their planet. Let's say your Mars is at 25 degrees Pisces, and their Jupiter's Antiscion is at 25 degrees Libra. This means that your drive and action Mars in Pisces is quietly and unconsciously working to bring them luck and expansion in their life. You are a source of inspiration and spiritual guidance for them, even if you don't realize it. You are a quiet blessing in their life. This is a profound tool for understanding the unspoken dynamics of a relationship. It can explain why you feel a deep karmic connection to someone, even if your charts don't seem to have a lot of visible connections. It can also explain why a relationship might feel so effortless, as if you are quietly and unconsciously supporting each other. For example, let's say you have a Venus in Libra and your partner has a Mars in Virgo. On the surface, you are a Venusian peacemaker and they are a Martian problem solver. But the Antiscion of your Venus in Libra is in Pisces, and the Antiscion of their Mars in Virgo is in Aries. This is a very different dynamic. Your hidden need for spiritual surrender is quietly and unconsciously inspiring their hidden drive to take action. You are their muse, and they are your anchor. It's a beautiful, though often unseen, dance of energies that is guiding your relationship. So, take a moment to look at the chart of a significant person in your life, a partner, a close friend, or a family member. Do any of your planets have an Antiscion connection to one of their planets? What does this quiet, unspoken bond tell you about your relationship? This is about understanding that the truest connections are often the ones that are felt, not seen. Now that we've covered the principles of Antiscion, let's bring it all together with a practical case study. We'll walk through a hypothetical birth chart showing you how to interpret the Antiscion of a few key planets and houses together. This will help you see how these energies don't operate in a vacuum. They create a beautiful, dynamic tapestry of your psyche. Let us imagine a person with the following placements: Sun in Aries at 10 degrees, Moon in Sagittarius at 20 degrees, Mercury in Pisces at 5 degrees. Now let us find their Antiscion placements. Sun's Antiscion, Aries 10, is a pair with Virgo. The Antiscion point is 31,020. Virgo. Let's say this falls in the 6th house of daily routine and work. Moon's Antiscion Sagittarius 20 is a pair with Capricorn. The Antiscion point is 3020 equals 10 Capricorn. Let's say this falls in the 10th house of career. Mercury's Antiscion Pisces 5 is a pair with Libra. The Antiscion point is 35 equals 25. Libra, let's say this falls in the 7th house of relationships. Now, let's unpack this. The person's conscious identity is that of a pioneering, adventurous Aries. They are a natural leader who loves to initiate new projects. Their emotional needs are in Sagittarius. They find comfort in freedom, travel, and higher learning. Their mind is in Pisces. They are a dreamy, intuitive, and compassionate communicator. On the surface, this person seems like a free-spirited, intuitive adventurer. But let's look at their shadow self. Their Sun's Antiscion in Virgo in the 6th house reveals a different story. While they are a fire sign who loves to take risks, their hidden identity is that of a meticulous, detail-oriented Virgo. Their greatest successes come not from blind risk-taking, but from a quiet, unconscious need for order and method in their daily routine. They might think they are just going with the flow, but they are secretly and effortlessly organizing and perfecting every detail of their projects. This is their secret superpower. Their Moon's Antiscion in Capricorn in the 10th house adds another layer. While they consciously seek emotional security through freedom and travel, their hidden emotional needs are tied to tangible achievement and public recognition. They may feel a sense of unease or unfulfillment that they can't explain, and it's because their soul is quietly yearning to build a career and a reputation. Their travel and adventures are not just for fun. They are secretly a search for a sense of purpose and a tangible legacy. And finally, their Mercury's Antiscion in Libra in the 7th house shows how their mind works behind the scenes. While their conscious mind is dreamy and intuitive, Mercury in Pisces, their hidden mental processes are guided by a need for partnership and balance in their relationships. They might be a poet who writes about the beauty of life, but their deepest desire is to find a partner who can mirror their thoughts and ideas back to them. Their communication is not just for the sake of dreaming. It's a hidden search for an equal to share their life with. You can see how these shadow placements paint a much more complex and beautiful picture of this person. They are not just a free-spirited adventurer. They are a meticulous organizer who is quietly building a legacy and seeking a partner. This is a profound tool for self-acceptance. Instead of feeling like they have to be one thing, they can embrace the beautiful duality of their light and shadow. They can stop running from commitment and start building a tangible foundation for their dreams. Now that we've unpacked the meaning of your Antiscion placements, let's talk about the most important part. Working with them, understanding this information is one thing, integrating it is another. The goal is not just to know your shadow self, but to consciously connect with it. To turn unconscious patterns into conscious power. This is where a simple meditative practice can be incredibly effective. This practice is about connecting with your shadow self in a gentle, non-judgmental way. You'll want to do this for each of your key planets, Sure Sun, Moon, and Ascendantor for any planet whose Antiscia placement you feel particularly drawn to. Find a quiet, comfortable spot where you won't be disturbed. You can light a candle or an incense stick, or simply sit in silence. The goal is to create a space where you can connect with your inner world. Start by taking a few deep, conscious breaths. Inhale peace and exhale tension. Allow your body to relax and your mind to quiet. Once you feel grounded, bring your attention to your sun sign. Visualize the energy of your sun, the qualities you know yourself to be. See yourself shining brightly in the world, embodying your conscious identity. Feel the warmth and the power of this energy. Now, gently bring your attention to your sun's Antiscia sign. Imagine this energy as a quiet, complementary force, a subtle shadow that is always with you. For example, if your sun is in Aries and its Antiscia is in Virgo, imagine the meticulous, detail-oriented energy of Virgo. See it as a beautiful, supportive force that is always there to guide your pioneering spirit. Feel this energy as an anchor, a quiet strength that grounds you. Now, ask yourself a simple question. How can I invite this shadow energy to support me today? Or, how can I be more intentional about honoring this part of myself? You don't have to force an answer. Just allow the question to float in your mind. Trust that the answer will come to you, either in this moment or later in your day. It might be a simple thought, an intuitive nudge, or a feeling in your body. It might be an urge to make a to-do list before you start a new project, or a desire to take a few moments to organize your desk before you begin your work. You can repeat this practice for each of your planets. For your moon's Antiscia, connect with your conscious emotional needs, your moon sign. Then, gently invite in your shadow emotional needs, your moon's Antiscia. Ask yourself what your soul truly needs to feel safe and secure. For your Mercury's Antiscia, connect with your conscious mind, your Mercury sign. Then, gently invite in your shadow mind, your Mercury's Antiscia. Ask yourself what you are quietly contemplating, what you are truly thinking about when you are alone. For your Venus's Antiscia, connect with your conscious desires, your Venus sign. Then, gently invite in your shadow desires, your Venus's Antiscia. Ask yourself what your heart truly wants, what brings you a deep sense of worthiness. This meditative practice is a powerful way to turn your Antiscia placements from an abstract concept into a living, breathing part of your spiritual practice. It's about creating a dialogue with your shadow self, and in doing so, you can begin to make peace with the parts of yourself that have been hiding in plain sight. It's about seeing yourself as a whole, integrated being, not a collection of fragmented parts. Up until now, we've focused on the harmonious, complementary energies of Antiscia, the shadow points that share the same amount of daylight as your planets. But for every shadow, there is a rebellious echo. This is the concept of contra-antiscia, and it's an equally important part of your astrological blueprint. While Antiscia points represent a quiet synergy, contra-antiscia points represent a rebellious or conflicting shadow energy that requires more active integration. They are the signs that are exactly opposite your Antiscia point, and they share the same amount of darkness as your natal placement. Think of it like this. If the Antiscia is a supportive whisper, the contra-antiscia is a challenging shout. It's the part of you that instinctively pushes back against your conscious desires, and even your own shadow self. It can feel like a point of tension, an internal friction that you can't quite put your finger on. But this tension is not a bad thing. It's an opportunity for profound growth. It's where your soul is being asked to find balance between two seemingly opposing forces. Finding your contra-antiscia point is simple. You just find the sign and degree that is exactly 180 degrees away from your Antiscia point. For example, if your sun's Antiscia is in Virgo, its contra-antiscia is in Pisces. If your sun's Antiscia is at 20 degrees Virgo, its contra-antiscia is at 20 degrees Pisces. Now you have a third layer of your solar identity to work with. Your sun in Aries is your conscious self. Your sun's Antiscia in Virgo is your supportive shadow, the quiet need for order. And your sun's contra-antiscia in Pisces is your rebellious echo, the part of you that instinctively resists structure and longs for spiritual surrender. This can explain a lot of the contradictions you feel within yourself. You might be a pioneering Aries who secretly loves making lists, Antiscia in Virgo, but you also have a part of you that just wants to float in a boundless ocean of emotions and creativity, contra-antiscia in Pisces. This Piscean energy can feel like an internal struggle. It's the part of you that resists all the hard work and discipline that your Virgo shadow loves. It's the voice that says, "Why are you bothering with all these rules when you could just be free?" This is not a flaw. It's a profound invitation to integrate to seemingly opposite energies. The contra-antiscia is a powerful tool for self-awareness. It reveals where you might be unconsciously sabotaging your own efforts. For the person with the sun's contra-antiscia in Pisces, they might unconsciously undermine their own projects by daydreaming or losing themselves in a fantasy world. But by bringing this to light, they can consciously work with this energy. They can use their Piscean side for creative inspiration and spiritual guidance, rather than allowing it to be a source of resistance. They can learn to surrender when they need to and to structure their lives when they need to, creating a beautiful balance between their three solar selves. So, take a moment now to find the contra-antiscia point for a few of your key planets. What does this rebellious echo sound like to you? What kind of inner friction does it reveal? By embracing this tension, you can begin to turn your greatest contradictions into your greatest assets. It's about seeing your entire chart light shadow and rebellious echo as a roadmap to a more integrated and authentic self. We've explored the stationary nature of your Antiscia points, but what about when the cosmos starts to move? Transits are the ongoing movements of the planets, and when a transiting planet forms an aspect to your natal Antiscia point, it can bring a powerful, though often unseen, opportunity or challenge to the surface. It's like a spotlight is being shown on your shadow self, inviting it to come out and play. This is a profound and subtle way that the universe communicates with you, and it can explain a lot of the quiet, yet profound shifts you experience in your life. Think of it this way. When a transiting planet hits one of your natal planets, the energy is loud and obvious. A transiting Pluto square, your natal sun, is a major life-changing event. You feel the intensity and the pressure. But when a transiting planet hits your Antiscia point, the energy is more of a whisper. It's not a crisis. It's a quiet nudge, a subtle shift in your consciousness that brings a hidden part of you to the surface. Let's use an example. Imagine you have a natal Jupiter in Scorpio at 15 degrees, with its Antiscia point at 15 degrees Aquarius. For much of your life, this Aquarian energy has been a quiet, unconscious source of luck. You might have found that unexpected opportunities came to you through groups or unconventional sources, but you never thought much of it. Now, let us say a transiting Uranus comes along and forms a conjunction with your Antiscia point at 15 degrees Aquarius. Uranus is the planet of sudden change and innovation. When it hits your Jupiter's shadow, it's not a loud, life-changing event. It's a quiet invitation to embrace your unconventional side. You might suddenly feel a powerful urge to join a new group or a community, or you might have a brilliant, innovative idea that seemingly comes out of nowhere. This is your hidden Jupiterian luck being activated by a transiting Uranus. It's not something you consciously sought out, it's something that was brought to you. This is a powerful tool for understanding the quiet moments in your life. Remember that time you suddenly decided to change your daily routine, and it led to a profound new path? It's very possible that a transiting planet was activating your Antiscia in the 6th house of daily routine. The change wasn't loud, it was subtle, a quiet impulse that you chose to follow, and it led to a beautiful new reality. This also works with challenging transits. A transiting Saturn square, your natal moon, might feel heavy and restrictive, but a transiting Saturn square, your moon's Antiscia, might feel like a quiet internal pressure to get more serious about your emotional needs. It's not a crisis. It's a silent call to mature and take responsibility for your emotional world. You might not even realize it's happening, but you find yourself quietly setting boundaries with people or taking a more serious approach to self-care. So, take a moment to look at the current transits in the sky. Are any of them forming an aspect to one of your Antiscia points? What kind of quiet opportunities or challenges are being presented to you? This is about understanding that the universe is always communicating with you, not just through the loud, obvious moments, but through the gentle whispers of your shadow self. We've talked about your natal chart, a snapshot of the sky at the moment of your birth. We've also talked about transits, the ongoing movement of the planets. Now, let's explore how your Antiscia points evolve over time through the lens of progressions. A progressed chart is like a symbolic unfolding of your life. It shows the gradual evolution of your conscious and unconscious self, where one day in the ephemeris equals 1 year in your life. As your progressed planets move, their Antiscia points are also moving, showing the gradual evolution of your unconscious motivations and hidden self over time. This is a beautiful way to understand the quiet inner shifts you experience as you grow older. Your natal Antiscia points are fixed, but your progressed Antiscia points are always on the move. They are showing you how your shadow self is growing and maturing with you. For example, let's say your natal sun's Antiscia is in Virgo. For much of your life, you've quietly and unconsciously used this energy to create order and method. But as your progressed sun moves into a new sign, its Antiscia point also moves into a new sign, bringing a new flavor to your shadow self. Let's imagine your progressed sun has just moved into the sign of Libra. Its Antiscia point is now moving into Pisces. This suggests a profound, gradual shift in your shadow self. While your conscious identity is now focused on harmony, balance, and relationships progressed, Sun in Libra, your unconscious motivation is now focused on spiritual surrender, compassion, and artistic expression progressed Antiscia in Pisces. You may find yourself quietly drawn to spiritual practices or creative pursuits, even if it seems out of character. This is not a sudden change. It's a gradual, quiet evolution of your soul. This can explain a lot of the quiet yet profound shifts you experience in your life. You might feel a subtle urge to change careers or to start a new hobby, and you can't quite put your finger on why. It's very possible that your progressed Antiscion has moved into a new sign, and it's bringing a new hidden part of you to the surface. It's a powerful tool for understanding your own personal growth and the quiet internal wisdom that is guiding your path. This also applies to your progressed moon. Your progressed moon changes signs every 2.5 years, so its Antiscion point is always on the move. When your progressed moon's Antiscion moves into a new sign, it can signal a quiet internal shift in your emotional needs. You might find yourself wanting to connect with people on a deeper level, or you might feel a need to get more disciplined about your self-care. This is your shadow self growing and maturing with you, and it's inviting you to honor its needs. So, take a moment to look at your progressed chart. Where are your progressed planets, and what are their Antiscion points? What signs and houses are they in? What does this tell you about the quiet, internal evolution of your soul? This is about understanding that your journey is not just a series of events, but a continuous unfolding of your entire being, light and shadow included. It's a beautiful testament to the fact that you are always growing, changing, and becoming more of yourself. We've spent a lot of time talking about the shadow, and for many people, that word can carry a negative connotation. It brings to mind something dark, hidden, or shameful. But in the language of Antiscion, the shadow is not a burden, it is a gift. It is not something to be feared or hidden. It is something to be understood and embraced. Understanding your Antiscion allows you to reclaim power and authenticity in a way that is quiet yet profound. Think about the traditional understanding of a birth chart. We're often told to work with our strengths, our Sun, our Mars, our Jupiter. We're told to embrace our inner fire or find our voice, and while that's important, it's only half the story. The other half is in the shadow. Your Antiscion is where your energy goes when you are not trying, when you are not performing. It's where your quiet, effortless genius resides. It's the place where you are most authentic because you are not consciously putting on a show. By understanding your Antiscion, you can stop trying to force yourself to be a certain way and start to trust your instincts. If your Venus is in Libra, but its Antiscion is in Pisces, you can stop feeling guilty about your secret desire to retreat from the world and lose yourself in a spiritual fantasy. You can begin to see that this is not a weakness. It is a profound source of creativity and inspiration. You can learn to trust that your quiet, dreamy side is just as important as your social, charming side. This shift in perspective is incredibly liberating. It gives you permission to be all of who you are, not just the parts that are easy to see. It helps you make sense of the contradictions you feel within yourself. Have you ever felt like you're a responsible, practical person, but you also have a deep hidden desire to be free and wild? It's very possible that your Saturn's Antiscion in Sagittarius is at play. It's not a flaw, it's a beautiful duality. It's the engine of your life's work. The shadow's gift is that it provides a powerful counterbalance to your conscious self. It's what keeps you from becoming one-dimensional. A person who is all fire and no water can burn out. But a person who understands their fiery nature, their sun sign, and also their watery shadow, their Antiscion, can learn to work with both. They can use their fire to create and inspire, and their water to feel and intuit. This is the path to wholeness. So, take a moment now to think about your own Antiscion placements. What is the greatest gift your shadow self has to offer you? How can you reframe your understanding of your shadow from something to be feared into something to be embraced? This is about seeing yourself as a whole, integrated being, and recognizing that your greatest strengths are often hiding in plain sight. It's a profound journey of self-acceptance, and it's a beautiful way to live. We've reached the end of our journey, and I hope you feel a new sense of connection to your chart. We've gone from the big picture of Antiscion as a shadow sign to the specific nuances of your planets, houses, and even your relationships. We've talked about the quiet, complementary energy of the Antiscion and the rebellious friction of the contra-antiscia. We've explored how transits and progressions are always inviting your shadow self to come out and play. And most importantly, we've reframed the shadow from something to be feared to something to be embraced. Your Antiscion is the quiet, humming engine of your life. It's the part of you that effortlessly and unconsciously works to support your conscious goals. It's where your authentic self resides when you are not performing. It's the missing piece of the puzzle that makes your chart feel whole. So, as you move forward, I want you to remember this one truth. You are a whole, integrated being, not a collection of fragmented parts. Your light is beautiful, but your shadow is what makes you truly authentic. The journey to understanding your chart is not just about knowing your sun sign. It's about embracing the entire cosmic blueprint of your soul, the light, the shadow, and everything in between. It's about seeing your challenges as gifts and your contradictions as a beautiful dance of energies. By embracing your Antiscion, you are embracing all of who you are, and in doing so, you are stepping into a profound sense of self-acceptance and authenticity. This is not about becoming a new person, it's about seeing the whole person you've always been. It's about a deep and abiding love for all of your beautiful, messy, and complex self. That's all for today. Keep trusting your intuition, and I'll see you in the next one.